Welcome everyone, we're back! It's a couples cast! We decided to start it up again.
Yeah, we sure did, folks. And if you like what you see, please subscribe and comment if you have any other topics that we should be talking about.
I usually want to say that to the end, but hey, I'm Johnny.
I'm Melanie, and might as well just start it early.
Yeah, might as well get into this. We're going to start off podcast today. Now, normally in these podcasts, we just talk about whatever. Like, anything that's like geeky, nerdy, we're related to pop culture, we'll talk about it. So, first thing I wanted to talk about that was brought up a few days ago, that it was National Handjob Day in Japan.
Oh my god.
And we just got finished watching the video that was tied to it. So, a little backstory on this. The reason it was National Handjob Day in Japan a couple days ago is because the way that the dates rolled in, I believe if you spoke it in Japanese, it was very close to how the Japanese say masturbation. So they decided to have a handjob day. So apparently there's this company in Japan called Tenga, who does a lot of like sex toys, and they're actually apparently sold in the US and Canada as well. These sex eggs. What they are is just like, apparently they're only for dudes. I think they make lady products, but I've only seen these things for dudes. But this thing was all dude centric anyway. But apparently it's just like this synthetic, kind of like a soft plastic or something. It's
probably
shaped
silicone.
an egg. It's probably silicone. It's shaped an egg, and it's different like textures, and dudes fuck it. Dudes jerk off with it like a fleshlight. And so apparently this company made a 17-minute long tokusatsu sentai-esque television episode with a hero called Tenga Man, who goes around and makes people use the Tenga products as opposed to just, freehanding it and just, masturbating. The key thing was just like whenever whatever I want, and they would just like unzip and just jerk off right there. Oh god, it was ridiculous. It was on par, I think, with Akiba Rager.
Akiba
Rager, if you remember that from the two seasons that they did.
They only made 3 seasons of that, didn't they?
Two television, and then they had a radio drama that went in between the season 1 and season 2. But
okay,
yeah, I don't know if they'll be back. I hope so, because that was actually quite amusing. It was a tribute to Sentai.
It was hilarious.
It was a tribute to Sentai, and it was poking fun at it as well. But yeah, so we just finished watching that, and I found a shoestring budget like those guys had. Actually could make a believable series out of it. Like to henshin or to transform, Buddy pulls down his pants, whips out a fleshlight, and sticks it in, and goes henshin, and jerks off until he transforms.
Yeah, it almost looked like he was going like Super Saiyan too. The way he was going, he was yelling as he was doing it. Oh good God, I don't know if I shouldn't be talking.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, fine.
So when I heard about that, I think that was ridiculous. This stuff could only come from Japan.
Leave it to Japan, folks.
What kind of funny though is that I've always heard that like Japanese culture is very like out
there.
No, not out there. I'm talking about like as far as it comes to sex, is like it's very, very closed. They don't really talk about it all that much. I think it was with remember Hard Gay.
Oh yeah,
the former. I don't know how he got away with the name Razor Ramon while wrestling in Japan, but that's what he was called. He was Razor Ramon and then Hard Gay. Then he started doing those stuff around Japan, and he's not gay, but the character
his character is. Right.
And apparently, like the reason he was doing that was just because, like Japanese culture doesn't talk about it all that much. Though maybe I'm confusing it with them not talking about sex in general, or just it's homosexuality they just don't want to talk about, but
or vice versa.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Funny thing about that. Now that I'm doing this parallel with wrestling and the gay thing. Apparently, Stephanie McMahon came out in an interview and said, "Yes, Darren Young, the person, is gay, but Darren Young, the sports entertainer, is not gay. That's why we don't have him, portrayed." I'm like, okay, so the wrestler and the person cannot be gay at the same time. So I kind of found that little like, yes, you don't need to bring up his homosexuality every single time. It's just like, yeah, he's gay, but he's in a tag team with Titus O'Neil. They're tag team champions right now. You know, it's not like you do like years ago with Rico, where it's just like, okay, people think you're gay already. We're just gonna put you in frilly little tights, you know, put face paint on you, and you're gonna dry hump people. Whatever.
No.
Oh god, wrestling hurts my head sometimes. Like, Darren Young can be gay, is part of the primetime players, but don't have to make the stereotype. But you know, WWE's all about stereotypes. Okay. When it suits their interest. When it doesn't suit their interest is when pro wrestlers go out of their way to slur racial comments for everyone to find out. Man, I'm so glad we're doing this podcast today because late last night, a shitstorm happened on WWE and all pro wrestling websites. Apparently, Terry Bollea, for those who don't know, that's the real name of Hulk Hogan, the WWE Hall of Famer, and probably the most recognizable professional wrestler in the world, has been fired from his Legends contract from the World Wrestling Entertainment after allegations of racial slurs, an audio file of racial slurs being made against African Americans will be reportedly leaked soon. WWE has decided they're not going to take that chance and have fired him and removed all merchandise from the store. All links. He's no longer in the Hall of Fame. I think he's still in the Hall of Fame section, but he's removed from the alum section. He's no longer on Tough Enough, which is in the middle of its season right now on USA. So rumors are on that is that Ric Flair is going to be taking his place next week.
Ric Flair's probably a better person.
Yeah.
I mean, they've both had really long careers and stuff like that. Yeah. But I think Ric Flair is probably a better candidate than Hulk Hogan. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
So let me bring this up here. I've got what, according to National Enquirer, are the alleged comments that were made by Hulk Hogan.
Oh boy.
So I'm going to read these now. These are very graphic and controversial language. I am going to do my best to clean it up. I will obviously not be saying the N-word. But according to the National Enquirer, and take it for what you will, the tabloid magazines, these were the contents of the audio file that's supposedly supposed to be... Again, allegedly he said this. But then again, WWE doesn't want to take any chances. So, these are accordingly to, this is Hulk Hogan's on the audio file. I guess we're all a little racist. Now, this is in direct to comments he made about also his daughter, Brooke. Whether it's, I think it's something to do with her record deals, or maybe she's dating an African-American right now. I don't know, because I really don't care about Brooke Hogan. The funniest joke that was ever made about Brooke Hogan was she debuted on Impact. They showed a younger photo of herself as a buffer, and then when she came out, she looked like 20 years older. And everyone started doing the Homer Simpson, yep, that's one fine looking barbecue. Why doesn't mine look like that?
Okay. Good way to insert a Simpsons quote here.
Yes, I do everything I can to put Simpsons quotes and everything.
You always do.
Okay, so this is the comments about here. Oh, geez, I didn't even read the whole thing. This is actually worse than I thought. Okay, so this is from Hogan's mouth. I'm not going to do Hogan impression. I'm just going to read it straight up. I guess we're all a little racist. She is making some real bad decisions now. My daughter Brooke jumped sides on me. I spent $2 to $3 million on her music career. I've done everything like a jackass for her. The one option Brooke's career besides me, is to sell Beach Records. I don't know if Brooke was fucking the black guy's son. I mean, I don't have double standards. I mean, I am a racist to a point. Effing N-words, but then when it comes to nice people and shit and whatever. I mean, I'd rather, if she was going to fuck some N-word, I'd rather her marry an 8-foot tall N-word worth $100 million, like a basketball player. I guess we're all a little racist. Effing N-word. Yeah, I only read the first half of it until it said like the first N-word, and I was just like, yeah, I can understand. But holy shit, it's just like, it's like he's basically saying, he's like, oh, if you're gonna fuck a black guy, make sure he's rich, brother. Yeah, that's pretty much grounds
on a way to be reimbursed.
Well, yeah, like okay, so the racial comments aside, he's basically saying that Brooke pissed away his money, and I'm like, pretty much. And then you try to get her into pro wrestling, but unfortunately that was on Impact. You should have had her work with WWE more. So remember his feud with Randy? But then again, she's like horrible. Like, it's Saturday Night's main event, and they're debuting her music video. Then he comes out with a rose, gives it to Brooke, and he's just like, sir, I want to respectfully challenge you to SummerSlam. He's like, you're on, brother. Then they go out to the back, and he's like, Hogan's putting his stuff away, and then he like slaps Orton on the back. He's like, see you at SummerSlam, brother. And he's like, yes, sir. Backs off, and all of a sudden, RKO onto the trunk of the car, and then all of a sudden, Brooke gets out of the front of the car. She's like, oh my God, Dad. And she looks at Randy. She's like, Randy, what happened to him? Did you not see him just be like...
Did you not see that? Brooke, are you that... Oh my God.
I guess it really was an RKO out of nowhere.
RKO out of nowhere. She probably wasn't paying attention.
No. Okay, so I'm going to read over... Okay, so Hogan... Okay, so WWE releases a statement saying that they have fired Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, from their contract. So now it comes out... they actually had an official statement. It's like, we have the utmost respect for all races, creeds, colors, all that, and we want to present this product as such. Nowadays, it's instead, if I swear to God, I can't make this, but I want someone to make a top 10 list of all the times that the WWE has been like super racist. I can think of a couple. When they dyed Chavo Guerrero's hair from black to white, or to like a bleach white, and called him Kerwin White, and he was basically like he was Carlton Banksing it. He had like a polo sweater. He came out in a golf cart, coming out to like Frank Sinatra, and his catchphrase was, "If it ain't white, it ain't right."
That is so wrong in so many levels.
And it took Eddie Guerrero dying for him to go back to Chavo. They were just like, nope, this thing's dead. Hey, funny fact, do you want to remember who his caddy was? He had a manager that was a caddy. Guess who his caddy was?
I'm too afraid to ask.
Dolph Ziggler.
What?
Oh, jeez. Sorry, anyone listening on headphones. That's pretty bad. Okay, okay, apparently this is an old one because, okay, so Hogan has come out and released his following statement to People magazine. 8 years ago, I used offensive language during a conversation. It was unacceptable for me to have used the offensive language. There's no excuse for it, and I apologize for having done it. This is not who I am. I believe very strong that every person in the world is important and should not be treated differently based on race, gender, orientation, religious beliefs, or otherwise. I am disappointed with myself that I used language that is offensive and inconsistent with my own beliefs.
That's a recent statement?
That was the statement released today by Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan. I think this is a guy who is
got
trying
his
to
mouth into a trouble without realizing the consequences.
Consequences, yeah. He basically was just, he got his hand caught in a cookie jar, and now he's crying to Mom saying, I'm sorry, please love me. Hulkamania will live forever, brother. And I feel really bad. Shout outs to Dylan Toomey, a fellow G1, an awesome dude, he was basing like t-shirts around the Hulkamania logo and the Tuesday Toomey Mania. And he's just like, he released a statement saying, despite everything that's happened, thanks for, wearing the shirts, but, maybe you want to hold off on it in a while. Okay, so I got some quotes here from Booker T, because obviously anything using the N-word will go back to Booker T's infamous promo from WCW with Harlem Heat that has been featured on Botchamania and several other sites. Back in the day, I think the quote went, "We want the gold, sucker, Hulk Hogan. We coming for you, N-word." And then like you saw Booker T just be like, "Oh Jesus Christ, I can't believe I said that."
Well, there's a lot of things people said back in the day that
can
be used against them now.
That was a slip of the tongue. And you know what? No one took offense to it because A, it was African American saying it, but everyone had a good laugh about it. I mean, it's not like a white guy would say it. Case in point, who wants to remember Vince McMahon saying "What up, my N-word" to John Cena, and then pan the camera and there's Booker T and Sharmell?
Didn't look impressed by the sounds of it.
We did the tell me I didn't just hear that.
Tell me I just didn't hear that.
Yeah, there's tons of times that WWE has been like super racist. What was the line? When Booker T was going for the world title at WrestleMania 19, I think Triple H said something on the lines of, "You can always have a job driving my car," and ooh, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was
borderline. They didn't say it, but it was just implying slavery a little bit. So here's some quotes from Booker T on Twitter at Booker T 5 times. 20 years ago, I made a huge mistake by saying something I shouldn't have said on national television. It's 2015, and the N-word should be eradicated from the English language, in my opinion. I am shocked by the statements made by Hulk Hogan. It's unfortunate, but that's something he's going to have to deal with. Let's see here. Yeah, everything. Everyone said it was something back. Talking about like what they said back then. But yeah, I'm not going to deal with this any longer. Point is, the N-word really should be abolished by everyone. All right, then moving on. Let's go back. Let's go into happier stuff.
Yes.
Meaning, so Square Enix has finally announced they finally announced that Rise of the Tomb Raider will be Xbox One exclusive for 1 year.
I was kind of thinking like less than that, but honestly,
yeah, here's the thing. It came out that Rise of the Tomb Raider was going to be Microsoft exclusive.
Yeah, I remember my old rant.
Yeah, it was going to be Microsoft exclusive, but that's all they said. It was a Microsoft exclusive. Then it said timed exclusive, and then they asked how long, and they're just like,
we can't say.
No, they could have said. They just chose not to. I mean, nothing's stopping them from saying this will be out for 1 year. They want to capture the market. They wanted all those people to buy Xbox Ones that wanted to play Rise of the Tomb Raider. Or 360.
That makes sense.
It's actually coming out the 360 as well.
Exactly.
Why? I don't know. So, the game's coming out November 10th of this year. And it will land on PS4 and PC holiday of 2016. But I mean, that's great for people that chose not to go Xbox One and PS4, that they're actually going to get the game. I honestly think waiting a certain time for a game really doesn't matter anymore. You know, with this day and age of games being broken, like, remember, Batman Arkham Knight is no longer available on PC because it's so broken. I'm trying to think of other games like Halo Master Chief Collection. It took them 6 months to get the online working, and from what I'm hearing now, it's broken again. As far as like Championship League's concerned, I don't play that mode. Now, me personally, I've never had an issue with the Master Chief Collection. I've always got matchmaking, and it was all fine.
Yeah, you've had good luck with it so far.
Yeah, I've always had good luck with certain games. Like, I don't see the game-breaking glitches everyone else does, but you know what? There's that fake account for the head of Sony, the one that said $599 and Ridge Racer at E3. There's like a dummy account for that, or a parody account, who's saying that it'll be Xbox exclusive for 1 year. We really mean beta testing. It'll be fixed by the time it comes out on PS4. So there's that. Oh, by the way, did you pre-order the collector's edition of Rise of the Tomb Raider yet?
No, I haven't, honey, considering our situation right now.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't even think it's available yet.
No, it's not going to be available until the end of the year, apparently.
End of the year? Well, it comes out in November. That's like...
Well, like I said, it's close to the end of the year.
This many away. Yeah. Anyway, there was... I thought that was interesting. It was Square Enix that had to announce that it's coming out for the other consoles now. So, you guys are actually going to get it. It's going to be a year later, but I mean, you'll actually get to play it. I mean, at this point, unless you're a Let's Player or a streamer and you need to have these games like day one for your cast or for your channel, who cares? Like, you can avoid spoilers and if you have the console of your choice or the PC of your choice, you can avoid spoilers very easily. I mean, if people are talking about on social media, block them. Block them until it all boils over, I say.
I remember when we were, I was casting Tomb Raider 1. I mean, not Tomb Raider 1, but that is 10 cents, surprisingly. I don't know why, on mobile.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to get the original Tomb Raider, it's 10 cents on Google Play right now. So if you have an Android device that can handle it, by all means, get it.
But anyway, as I was getting to it, everyone was playing it. That's the thing. So it's not easy to, when you're a first-time streamer, that you have so much competition against you playing the same goddamn game you are. So I was kind of getting to the point that I was getting a little miffed, and I'm like, I still like doing this, but I got so much competition, I got to do something different here.
Yeah, like, as far as my personal preference with streaming, I never stream any game that's day one because, you know, I'm too worried about talking, trying to entertain the chat, trying to entertain the viewers.
And trying to enjoy the game too. So yeah,
it's hard. So I just decide to new games I play by myself. I enjoy them by myself, and then I'll come back to them.
Second playthrough will be online,
if any.
Yeah, that way you don't have to worry about anyone in the chat spoiling it for you. Like it's happened once upon a time, I think, to you, right?
To me, I don't think anyone has spoiled anything for me on a Twitch stream, so that's good. So yeah, I mean, if you got an Xbox One, pick it up. If you get a PlayStation 4, you'll get it eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that they're actually finally announcing that because everyone was so quiet about that. It's just like, it's a times exclusive for Microsoft. It's like, okay, cool. So that means coming out to other consoles? I can't say. It's like, why not?
Well,
so is that part of the deal?
You gotta let them perfect it for all the other systems first. I mean, Arkham Knight was a little bit rushed, and for the PC part, they didn't. I don't think they kind of fixed it all up, didn't?
Well, I think the story with Arkham Knight is that Rocksteady was focused solely on the console.
Yeah.
They wanted to develop for the console and didn't know how to port a console game over to PC. With the way the architecture is now on the PS4 and the Xbox One, they didn't know how to convert it over. But so they handed it off to Iron Galaxy, who's been handling Season 2 of Killer Instinct and a bunch of other fighting games. So, I mean, you really can't blame Iron Galaxy all that much. I mean, you can, but, you know, you really gotta blame Rocksteady to handing off the development to someone that only knows just about fighting games, really.
Yeah.
But apparently it's not all that hard, because apparently Bethesda said that with Fallout 4, any mods that are made for the PC will be able to be transferred over to the Xbox One. No word about PS4 yet, but I think that's pretty cool that people that can develop mods, you can actually transfer those over into a console. I think that's pretty radical. I don't care for the Fallout series myself, but I mean, that's still pretty cool. So yeah, moving on. There's some release dates for Age of Ultron. If you are looking to pick it up digitally, it's coming out in September. Let me get the exact date.
That's
September
not very
8th.
long.
Yep. Only
I
took
cannot
months.
wait. It was such a good movie. Sorry.
Jeez, calm down. What's your voice there? Yeah, so September 8th is coming out on digital. It's coming out physically on the 2nd of October. And we saw a news report that says Joss Whedon is not going to be doing a director's cut of the movie because there was 30 minutes of scenes that had to be cut from the film that apparently fleshed out some characters a little bit more. I believe that Tom Hiddleston was supposed to be in it as Loki. For what role, I don't know. Maybe they'll put that in Thor Ragnarok. We're not sure yet. But, yeah, so, yeah, we got the box art there.
Looks beautiful.
I don't know if the Blu-ray disc will be red like that, but I think it would make sense to make it that. Yeah, so any Marvel Cinematic Universe fans, that's coming out digitally on the 8th and physically in a month after.
Well,
I
it
always
has the
found it
deleted
weird.
scenes on there too, so...
Yeah, I found it funny though that digital, I say digital costumes, digital discs or digital stuff is coming out sooner than physical release, which I find kind of weird because, like, it's the same amount of price, but you don't have a physical copy of it.
Yeah.
Now, my take with physical versus digital, it's like digital, hey, it's cool. I mean, it's something that you can have stored on a hard drive, and if you need to delete anything off your hard drive and get it back at a later date, hey, that's cool. But the only problem is that you'll never get that money back. You spend $20 on something that's digital, that's it. You can't resell it. The thing I like about physical media is I could always resell it. I could be like, okay, I've got all these Blu-rays here. I'm really not watching them right now, and I kind of need some cash right now. Put up a post and be like, hey, $5 movie. Who wants them? And I'll make at least some money back off of it as opposed to, like...
It won't be much, but it'll be significant.
Yeah, like some people are just like, oh, I bought the digital versions of the Star Wars saga on my Xbox. It's like, awesome. How much did you pay for that? $100. I'm like, well, I'll never see that money again. He's like, well, better than buying physical. It's like, yeah, well, I've got the physical discs of Star Wars on Blu-ray. I can resell it anytime I want and make some money back, you know? That's my physical versus digital. Even though, like, half my games right now on the Xbox One are digital, mainly because they are games for gold, so some of them were free. But a lot of them, too, were, like, because of convenience and...
luck.
And price, too, because, like... Right now, I'm replaying Saints Row 4 right now, only because it was like $20. Like, I don't think I can get, like, if it's at a point where it's super duper cheap and I can't get more money out of it than I think I can, then I'll just go ahead and go for that. So yeah, moving on from Marvel superheroes to DC. I recently watched the Kickstarter documentary "Death of Superman Lives: What Happened." Movie. It's basically a documentary of a guy who interviews most of the people involved in the process of the 1990s attempt to reboot Superman, called Superman Lives. And of course it begins with Kevin Smith because he was the first writer. It's basically that part of the movie is just rehashing his stand-up that he did at colleges, where he had that like 30-minute long montage of like, oh, I'll tell you about Superman. It's like, oh, I got the script. And I said, oh, this is horse shit. This is horrible. Did your cousin write this? All right, well, thanks for coming in. And then if you want to see the whole Kevin Smith thing, it's obviously on YouTube. It's from his evening.
You can find it just about anywhere, folks.
It's on his Evening with Kevin Smith DVD that me and my buddies back in the day, like every time it was on the Movie Network. I remember
watching that. I laughed my butt off.
Yeah, we watched like the whole thing and it was crazy.
Kevin Smith, I remember he was supposed to be here in the Maritimes. We couldn't make it. We wanted to go, but
I think I remember that.
Yeah, he was in Halifax for some point in time. Like, oh no, yeah. Mr. Cool's here. Shit.
So one of the thing about this movie is that it's a bunch of interviews strung along about the entire process. The key people that he interviewed was obviously Kevin Smith, Tim Burton, and John Peters, infamous John Peters. And he also tells the story again about how John Peters rose from Barbra Streisand's hairdresser to becoming a producer and executive producer on many films. So, and then he came up with the infamous 3 points that he came up with in his stand-up, is that what John Peters said. He said, number one, I don't want to see Superman flying. Number two, I don't want to see him in the suit. And according to Kevin Smith, his words, John Peters' words, not his, is that Superman looked faggy in the suit. And then number three, in the third act, he has to fight a giant spider. Now, John Peters apparently denies the first two. He's just like, I did not say that Superman shouldn't fly and shouldn't have the suit. I mean, Superman is flying. That is, in essence, what Superman is. He flies. And the suit is iconic. You can't not have the suit on him. But he's like, I'm totally right about the spider. Because he's like, I want the doors to open up and I want a giant fucking spider coming out. And then apparently they're like, okay, we'll write the spider in, but don't call it a spider. What do you want to call it? Thanagarian Snar Beast.
What?
So he's just like, oh, that was my little add into into the Superman. They add in like Hawkman's planet and all that. But one of the funny things is that we got to hear a little bit more. I never read Kevin Smith's draft of Superman Lives, but apparently Doomsday is in the film, and it deals with the death and return of Superman. But it also involves Brainiac, because this was the sad thing about this movie not getting made, is that Brainiac would have been the villain. And like Brainiac will never be a villain in anything unless he's the ultimate villain with Luthor in the Justice League movie that's coming out in like 20 years. We will probably never see Brainiac on the screen. But yeah, after a while though, like the key things about this is that unfortunately the director could not get direct contact with Nicolas Cage, who was to star as Superman. But he did get a lot of the test screening and the test footage of him trying on the suit, and also like their interpretation of what Clark Kent was going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Now the main problem everyone has on the internet is just like, Superman with long hair. That's never. It's like Superman had long hair back then. Death and Return of Superman, he had like the full on mullet, and it was actually longer when he came out of his healing coma. But yeah, it was actually starting to look. And then like when the pictures started coming out and like the last run of shots of Cage's Superman, it was like it actually was gonna look kind of cool. I will say though that the film is a bit long. It's close to 2 hours, and I think they could have cut another half hour out. Because like at one point it's just like creature feature, just like look at all these creatures we drew for Superman to fight, and they just go through every single one. And it's just like, can we just get onto the what killed it eventually? And apparently what killed it was not the fact that Batman and Robin bombed so bad at the box office. It was every single Warner Brothers hit besides The Matrix. Like, The Matrix made them a ton of money, but then like Batman and Robin came out, and I can't remember the name of the other movies that were coming out. Steel cost like $50 or $100 million to make, and it made $2 million domestically.
Yeah, this was the downfall of superheroes for Warner Brothers.
For everyone, no one wanted to touch superhero properties for at least like 4 or 5 years until Fox got X-Men.
Yeah.
So
David Hayter made it sound right. Bryan Singer.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. David Hayter, the voice of Solid Snake, wrote X-Men and X-Men 2 United, didn't he?
I have a hard time apparently he cameoed in the movies. I still have a hard time trying to see. Okay, is that him?
Yeah,
I can't tell.
Well,
it just looks like it's an over his shoulder shot.
Well, I thought I'd do it. Well, of course, David Hayter, not so unfamiliar with the Marvel world, he voiced Captain America in the Spider-Man animated series.
Yeah, and he voices Solid Snake, not Solid Snake, but Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, in the Marvel 2015 game online. And I am so behind on that game. I gotta get on
Heroes?
to it. Marvel Heroes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And every time I play Bucky / Winter Soldier, every time I hear his voice, I crack up because I know of the voice actor's career, and I'm like, oh god, Metal Gear coming out of Bucky's mouth.
Does he say Metal Gear?
No.
That'd be
he
funny.
almost did.
Be like,
they almost did. It's like, Tony, stay away from my metal arm.
Iron
or
Man.
something like that.
Colonel, how do I stop Iron Man? Oh. I got it. The controller port. Plug your controller into controller port 2. If you do that, he won't be able to read your mind. I thought it was pretty funny when you're playing Twin Snakes. You do the controller socket, but it's only for 1/3 of the fight, because Mantis will start reading your mind again, and the Colonel will tell you to plug your controller into controller socket 3. Great use of the multi-tap or the 4 controller ports on the GameCube.
That is pretty brilliant, though.
Yeah. So, final thoughts on Superman Lives. If you enjoy looking at behind the scenes stuff, I mean, it's basically one of those behind the scenes documentary things that are thrown on the Blu-ray, but it stretches out way too far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting piece of history. Oh, and this has actually deterred me from ever kickstarting a documentary or any type of film, because at the end of the credits, it's like when they start thanking people and it gets to Kickstarter backers, like the font is so tiny you can't read it.
You can barely read it.
It's like the episode of The Simpsons where Bart starts working for Krusty on the show, and he brings his friends over. He's like, "I'm telling you, I do work on the Krusty the Clown show." And they do that thing where like they split the credits off in the half because they had to have Kent Brockman introduce the 5 o'clock news, and he pauses it. He's like, "Look, there I am, right there." It's like, no, that looks like Garter Firth. That's for taking credit for other people's work. I mean, if you're interested in it, you can go on the website and get the film there. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Well, this isn't on my show notes, but hey, let's talk about it. There's new high-res photos released for X-Men Apocalypse. Now, thankfully, the Let's Play that we did died because I kept calling it Age of Apocalypse based on the X-Men Legends. I think that was called the X-Men Apocalypse, or Age of Apocalypse there. Okay, so I just gotta say this, and this won't come out on the because I said it on one of the other Let's Plays. I hate Olivia Munn with unbridled passion. I hate Olivia Munn. She's the worst actress ever. Case in point, go watch any episode of her on the Attack of the Show. Like,
I don't remember whatever.
Olivia Munn?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just terrible.
The
only thing I actually liked her in was when Nathan Barnett as Keith Apicary crashed her on G4 going, "You guys seen the Dreamcast 2? Dreamcast 2?" And then he got thrown out of E3. And then she still continued on her stupid, like, "I'm a pro gamer. Just fuck off and like, she's going to be playing Psylocke in this movie.
Psylocke?
Yeah.
Who's Psylocke?
Psylocke's the one with the purple leotard and purple hair.
Oh.
Yeah. But I found like a lot of people are complaining a lot about how Apocalypse looks in this movie. And like people are just like, "Oh, why does the cosplayer look so much better than Hollywood?" It's just like, well, because the cosplayer is basing it on the comic book, and the filmmaker is trying to make their own vision of it. Like, this is the age-old thing of like comic book fans complaining about comic book movies. It's like it doesn't match exactly what was on the page. I'm like, it never is. I mean, Marvel gets it pretty close, except for the case of X-Men, because they want to do their own thing. Because, you know what? Take the movies for what they are. Take the comics for what they are. They're never going to mix. I mean, this is the same thing with like video game movies. Like, if you wanted to see one for one the video game on the big screen, why would you go see it on the big screen? Why don't you just play it at home? Like Homer going like at the beginning of the Simpsons movie. They're watching Itchy and Scratchy movie. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I can't believe we paid $10 to see something we get for free at home. Everyone, this crowd's a bunch of suckers, especially you. And he points to the screen. I don't know. Unless it's the case of Super Mario Brothers movie. Yeah, that they fucked up there. The only way you could do a Super Mario Brothers movie now and make it good, give it to Disney and Pixar. They would make a phenomenal one. They would make it close, and they would give you feels. Actually, the only thing that's come out is that, or the only thing that was close to Mario was that Japanese anime that was released when Mario Brothers was first released on the Famicom.
Mm.
So there's that.
Someone's calling the guy in the Apocalypse.
Oh,
Ivan
yes.
Ooze.
That's the main joke, is that Apocalypse, his outfit makes him look like Ivan Ooze, and his Ooze warriors from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie.
Oh, my good God.
Yeah. Speaking of which, actually, I went to Toys R Us the other day, and they had a more line of those Power Ranger movie toys. They had Rocky the Red Ranger, and they had Aisha the Yellow Ranger, and she had an interchangeable head for that one scene where she had headlights on top of her helmet.
What?
It was only for the movie. That's the funny thing is, like, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, is non-canon. It's like, it's non-canonical with the series, because in the series, they just gave them the Ninja Zords anyway. The only movie that was canon was Turbo, because they switched from Zeo to Turbo. Staying on comic books, I guess new stuff has been... Oh, teaser clips have been released for Season 2 of Gotham, where it's Bruce exploring the Batcave, and we're going to get a little bit more of Cameron... I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but the glimpse of the kid who would be Joker. and I think that's going to be phenomenal. Like, Gotham was such a good show, and I'm so glad that Fox, Fox, they'll keep animated series running until the horse has been beaten into a bloody pulp and there's nothing left but ooze. But their television series, they'll just hit the horse once and knock it out and kill it, and then not even bother with it. They'll just leave it on the side of the road. They're notorious for that for their live action series. But thankfully, they're bringing Gotham back for season 2, and I'm a big fan. I can't wait. This is going to be a good year as far as like superhero television series goes, because we're going to have season 4 of Arrow, which we're currently watching Arrow right now. We're only on episode 5 of season 1. We got to catch up.
I thought it was 6.
6. Yeah, 6, sorry.
5 or 6, one of them two.
Whatever, it's fine. So we've got that. We've got The Flash that we've been watching. We've been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which we have. I haven't gotten any news about season 3 yet.
There's still a lot of speculation, and they're being a little quiet about it.
Yeah,
somewhat.
Well, it's still going to be dealing with Inhumans because
that's kind of a given.
That's kind of Josh and
how
Jed
they
Whedon's,
left it at.
That's kind of Josh and Jed Whedon's baby right now, is that they're not going to focus on Hydra as much. They're just going to focus on the Inhumans, and they're going to build this kind of new, not really new Avengers, but let's just say it's going to be the cinematic
team of Inhumans.
Yeah, it's going to be their own version of, let's say, the X-Men, because we can't call them mutants or Inhumans.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much.
Well, they're based off Kree, so we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if anyone's going to cameo from the movies again. Maybe we'll get Lady Sif again, obviously, because she's the only one that's been on there. We know Sam Jackson won't be back as Fury. I think they dropped that. Fury was still alive in the series, right? Yeah, because Coulson told oh god, I can't remember his name, but it's Edward James Olmos, the guy with Kane. He just like he gave him the box and he's like, here you go, Fury's gonna want that back soon. Oops, spoiler alert. So what else? Oh yeah, and then mid-season we're gonna get Legends of Tomorrow, which is gonna be the big DC the show on CW, the DC superhero team. Arrow, Flash, White Canary, Firestorm, Captain Cold, Heatwave, and Ant-Man. Or not Ant-Man, sorry.
Ant-Man's
the Atom.
It's
just the same thing. The guys in the suit that shrinks. The Atom and Hawkgirl. So we're gonna get a Thanagarian in the series. She was teased at the end of season 1 or the finale of Flash. So. But here's one of the things that a buddy of mine, an old manager of mine at an old work, put on Facebook, who's upset that because at Comic-Con, the Warner Brothers has announced that in the future they will be making a new Green Lantern movie called Green Lantern Corps. So it's going to be the whole Green Lantern Corps. And so we don't know if we're going to have Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, Guy Gardner, or Jon Stewart yet. But it's going to deal with the Corps. It's going to be far away from Earth because obviously we can't have Green Lantern interacting with Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Now they said because of that, sorry to cut you off, but because they said that, because that movie's coming out, they don't want Lantern anywhere near the CW productions. Even though that he has been referenced on at least Flash. I don't know if he's been referenced on Arrow yet.
A couple occasions.
Yeah. Because they were going to transport all those supervillains out, and they mentioned the fact that they shut this place down after the test pilot went missing. So Hal Jordan's in this universe somewhere, but it could be a case too of, I don't know if it's season 2 or 3, but Ollie sets up a prison to house most of the Suicide Squad, and Tara Strong was cameoed in there as Harley Quinn, doing just her voice. That means that Harley does exist in the CW universe. But because of the Suicide Squad movie, they will not be on the TV show. Here's what I think. Like, why can't we have two... Like, this is a multiverse. Let's have 2 multiverses. Let's have the movie multiverse, and then let's have the television show multiverse. We're going to have a multiverse in the television show. They're trying to do what
Marvel and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does, like the cinematics.
No, they're not, because Arrow and... I'm just trying to readjust myself here. Arrow and Flash are not the same Arrow and Flash that are going to be in the movies. These are 2 completely different universes. So, in a sense, if they're going to be different universes, why care? And like, I was discussing with this with a guy at work, And I actually came up with a wrestling analogy for it. Now, hear me out on this. Arrow, Flash, Hawkgirl, and their subsequent villains. So Captain Cold, Deadshot, Deathstroke, all these characters. They exist as the mid-carders. So if we're thinking DC as World Wrestling Entertainment, these guys are the mid-carders. These are the guys that pump up the crowd and get them excited for the main eventers. So you get the main eventers that are, let me pick out like John Cena. But John Cena is kind of a bad example because he does wrestle on Raw. But let's say like Brock Lesnar, Undertaker. Let's take those two. So Brock Lesnar and Undertaker are the Batman and Superman of these universes.
Makes sense.
It's that they exist, but in order to see them in action, you got to pay money. In the case of like, yeah, they'll show up on Raw and SmackDown and all that, but they will never wrestle. They'll barely fight. You want to actually see them fight in a match, you got to pay for pay-per-view. Case in point with CW and the DC universe. Yes, Batman, Superman, they may exist in these worlds, and you even geeked out when Arrow had someone on train tracks and they said, oh, you're about to catch the next flight or the next train out to Bloodhaven. And I'm like, yeah, they said Bloodhaven, but don't expect Nightwing to show up. Don't expect that. Don't even think of a mention. So for anyone that wants this universe, you're going to have to pay to see them in theaters. Like, it kind of sucks, but like, and that's why I think Fox 2 and CW, I think that's like the guy in Smallville was just like so adamant about, I'm waiting until the very, very last episode and you'll barely see Tom Wellington in the suit. Because it's like, I don't want him in the suit because that's not what the show's about. It's like, God damn it, give us a goddamn Superman. Like, I don't know why people like are so like, about putting Superman on television. I was like, yes, Lois and Clark wasn't all that good, but you know, at least they had Superman on television. You know what I mean? Yeah, and look at the DC animated universe. Like, they're killing it. Like, they kill it every time they release a movie. It's always top quality. It's always great. Why can't you do that for live action? Anyway, I'm really excited for Gotham Season 2 and for Legends of Tomorrow. I think that's going to be a mid-season break series. This probably could be DC's and CW's answers to Agent Carter. Maybe. It'll be a mid-season thing. So you'll get half of Flash and Arrow. Then they'll switch over to Legends of Tomorrow for 8 episodes. And then they'll switch back to Flash and Arrow to finish off their season. Yeah. Kind of like they did. They went Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They went 11 episodes, I think.
8.
No. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They went 11 episodes, stopped. They did 8 episodes of Agent Carter, stopped, and then continued on with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Just to give them a bit of a break.
Yeah, so maybe I can look real quick and see if
I was about to mention the Deadpool movie.
Yeah, where's the... Okay, so here's another thing we were talking about with Comic-Con is that people had... people went to the Hall H panels and they were watching the trailers, right? And then shortly after they got released, because a lot of them were just like, okay, these are going to get leaked anyway, so you might as well just release them out to the public for... for higher quality, because
some people asked not to film because they're gonna post it in like an hour after it's been shown in Comic-Con.
Well, I think for Suicide Squad, that trailer was never meant to be released. It was just for the Comic-Con attendees. Yeah. It's just like they're asking you like, oh, please don't record. It's like, you know damn well people are gonna record it and leak it anyway. I mean, we live in this digital age where like
people
I can record.
People want to see it now.
Well, that's the thing too, is that like people have the ability to record. So, like this, like the phone, like really good quality. You know, obviously it's going to be off screen, so it's going to be or unfocused and all that. But you could upload that right away, and that's
just it. Just with the Wi-Fi. Ruined.
So, I think in future, these companies for Comic-Con should just be like, okay, I know you're going to record. Ah, damn it. Okay, back from the call there. But, yeah, so I think in the future, they should be like, we know you guys really want to record this and put this up on YouTube, but this trailer is for you, and as soon as it's done, if you want to rewatch it in higher quality, it will be up on YouTube. Don't worry. I mean, at this point, it's not really all that special to go to Comic-Con anymore. Like, 130,000 people can go, and and you can cosplay and go to the dealer's room and get all the exclusive shit. At the end of the day, like, you can experience stuff from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
Case in point, SGC just happened and ended. Man, that looked like a lot of fun. Just from the main stage alone. I'm hearing stories about like the gaming hall where all the arcade machines are, the other panel rooms, which I hope most of those Q&As go up because I really like watching those. Because in panel room 2 there was like the Game Chasers, there were the Super Best Friends, Craig beating Mike Tyson. He couldn't do it on the main stage because they're going to have this new thing called Amiibo Cockfights, where you take your amiibo, you play Smash, and if you lose, it gets destroyed. Man, it looked like, we were watching it look like a lot of fun. And I'm watching all the replays of the stuff I couldn't watch live. Like, the Beard, the guys from the Completionist, beating at least one level in Kaizo 3 Mario. Mm-hmm. Pro Jerry panels, PPG panel. I need to rewatch because I only saw the beginning of How to Make It on YouTube panel. Which a lot of, like, sometimes I find with those panels, like, a lot of people give out like vague descriptions on how to make it, but a lot of them will give out some decent information. So really need to keep on that. Oh, plus we are going to be planning on doing a series of videos chronicling our chronicling. Is that a word?
I don't know.
Reporting our it's going to be, we're going to recording our savings and some tips and tricks on our experience and how to get to SGC next year, because I really, really, really want to go. We never really do any out-of-town cons that are really super far away, so we're going to try this.
The farthest we've ever gone was basically for HalCon in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Yeah, which, coincidentally enough, is actually where we're going to need to drive through to catch our flight to Dallas, because, pro tip number 1, and I'm going to make a video about this, if you have a really shitty airport that charges way too much for flights, see how much it is for a flight in another city, and arrange transportation there, because you might save some money. I've learned that flying out from where we are to Dallas round trip will cost us $1,000 each. If we drive down to Halifax, which is just 3 hours away, give our car to a friend or leave it at the airport, it's like half off. Like, it's $500 round trip.
Yeah, because I remember my brother, when he got back from home from our wedding, some idiot had actually drained all the gas in his car right at the airport.
Yes, that's why we're going to trust our car to friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he did that mistake because couldn't get someone to keep an eye on the truck for the time being. He was ticked.
Yeah, so we've got a little change box that we're going to be throwing change in. Basically, as far as, like, saving money, though, it's going to be just, change we find off the floor, YouTube earnings, Twitch earnings, donations if you feel inclined. This is not e-begging. I'll put that out right now. It's not e-begging. But
we're not e-begging.
But some people, when they watch Twitch streams, they feel compelled to donate, either to support their favorite streamer or support them in, up in their quality. So that
and we appreciate the thought.
We appreciate followers. Like, I get elated when I have a new follower alert come up on my streams. You've
gotten quite a few in just this one stream.
All I did was stream myself editing, and people are following me for that.
Yeah, you got 4 people.
Yeah, like, whatever. It's cool.
And the last few times I had streamed, I got at least 2 new people, and I don't stream all that very much. I try to. It's not easy, mind you, but I do what I can.
Yeah.
At least some people like what I do, thank God, but...
So we're running low on time, so we're just going to rapid fire here because we actually have company coming soon.
As in really my parents.
Yeah, we got a really bad time to record. So I want to talk about quickly some video games. So apparently the YouTube sensation that everyone loves watching but no one wants to buy the game, Five Nights at Freddy's, was supposed to come out in August to coincide with Halloween. But then the guy said, no, it's going to come out in August to coincide with the 1-year anniversary of the game. And then he just said, fuck it, I'm done the game. Let's just release it today. So, of course, your favorite YouTubers are going to be playing it. I actually considered buying it and playing it just for the clicks. But then I'm like, no, I'm above that. And I really hate these types of clickbait horror games. So, I decided against it.
I get scared too easily, folks. I'm not playing it. What?
I'll like get taken back by jump scares. So, like, case in point, like playing Arkham Knight, there's one section where I flew up a building and then bam, Man-Bat showed up. I was like, oh Jesus, that was kind of freaky. It But yeah, we want to talk about too about. I wanted to talk about this on a podcast for a long time. This is a free to play game I've been playing on my phone. By DNA Games and Square Enix. Final Fantasy Record Keeper. And I know there's a couple of guys out there just like, oh, this game is garbage. Go play a real Final Fantasy game. I'm like, it's not that bad. I've never felt compelled to ever buy anything on there. And I mean, it's not that hard to, save up your mithrils and, buy and then put them into the rare drops. But basically what this game is that you play a game called, character called, I think it's Tyro. And you have like a Dr. Moog, a Moogle with you. And basically, so cute. Basically what this game is that you're just replaying dungeons and within
the all the main of all your favorites.
All the main Final Fantasy games. So everything from 1 through 13. Excuse me, I threw up in my mouth a little bit when I said 13. But they obviously nixed out 14 and 11 because they are MMOs. But you can play through the dungeons of all the main games with those sprites, with those enemies, and even like the games that were like meant to be 3D, they made sprites for them. I've been having this is like my religious game. This is the game like I have to boot up every day to get my rewards, my dailies in, my dungeons. They've added a lot to the game. The level cap used to be 50. Now if you get these special crystals, you can break them and level your guys up to 65. And you'll need to with some of the heroic dungeons that are in there. And every like week or so, they're adding like this new series of dungeons that you can unlock more characters. Like right now, I'm doing one within 8 where I can unlock Quistis and Selphie from 8 and have them in my party, and then go through the elite dungeon so I can get their level caps out. They've also added new summons for other characters. You can have like a 2 summon for an extra character in your party. I think it's a lot of fun. It's free to play. At no point if I ever felt compelled to buy gems, which uses real world money to like increase my inventory, refill my stamina meter so I can play more. I've never felt compelled for that because I'm like, oh, stamina's down? Okay, I'll just menu out, go do something else, come back, oh, stamina up for this dungeon? Sweet, let's go through and play it. So I've been playing it. It's a lot of fun. I don't care what the haters say. It's better than all the Bravest, if you guys remember that piece of shit.
And I don't remember it, so thank God.
And lastly, if you guys saw in our pickup video, we bought a Wii U recently, and I just want to talk about it really quick. It's been out for a while, and everyone shits on it. They think, oh, this is killing the market. And it's like, it's a different market. Like, really, if Nintendo was like Xbox and PS4, like, would you care? Like, do you want everything to be the same? Probably that was a great analogy with SGC with Goku versus Superman 2. They were saying like, if you wanted Goku to be like Superman, indestructible and unkillable, would you really want him? Like, isn't the point of Goku like what appeals everyone to Goku is that he's a guy that can break limits? That like you see him, he gets his ass kicked, and then he like breaks into that other level so he can beat the enemy.
Yeah, he's pretty much like every other person. And he's not Superman, for crying out loud. Putting him against Superman, I mean, hello, it's a no-brainer. Superman's gonna kick his ass.
Yeah, they did a recent fight where even with his new powers, Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, Superman still kills him. He does the lobotomy thing and kills him. It was a cool little, like, Dragon Ball Z abridged clip with King Kai and Goku where it's just like, it's like, oh, come on, I could beat him. No, that's retarded. You can't beat him. Okay. I'll just go fight that little weird-looking green guy in your god world. What I find funny is, like, King Kai was a god, yet when Cell blew up, he died. I'm like, how do you die in a realm where people are already dead? I don't know.
Chances are you're probably just reborn.
Ask that in the comments. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's great to be back. I think we're going to do this. We're going to record every Friday and try to upload it that same night. I want to do this on a Friday just so that like all the news stories are out. I mean, if we missed anything, we can always go back.
Yeah, it's like This Week in Geek News.
Yep. So if you guys have any like questions you want, like we always used to do Q&A. So if you want to ask
questions to us directly, you can go do so right in the comments right down below.
Actually, before we leave, let me check the last episode we did, which was probably a year ago, when we were talking about. I think we were talking about Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Oh, I like that movie too.
Yeah. You got a big heart on for Captain America. It's weird.
It's something... I want to know something funny? My mom actually loved it before I did.
Oh. Like the actual...
Yeah.
Oh, and there's our people.
And it's time to end the episode.
Okay, we're back. Our company has left. And we're coming back just to basically say goodbye. But we will answer one question that was left on last year's episode. I forgot what the date was, but it was from episode 11. And they're asking about us and Sylvie and Gabe, who were on that podcast, about how we all met. What it was...
Well, I've known Sylvie and Gabe from a convention that I've been to, that we finally went to during our honeymoon. It's Anna Maritimes. I got bonded with, as a close, well, not really close friend. She's one of my best friends. Once I moved in the Dieppe, she and we were hanging out a lot. And when it came, then I met Gabe and... found out that they were high school sweethearts. So, which is something you don't normally hear a lot nowadays. The high school sweethearts still together, are together.
Yeah.
And then I met Johnny, and
I just met them one day that she just invited me over to meet her and her other friends, and we all just pretty much hit it off. So yeah, that's basically it. And then kind of that, we just started hanging out more.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We did the first run of couples play. Unfortunately, because of our real life work schedules, we haven't been able to get together and record all that.
It's been like that all year.
Yeah, it's basically why we've kind of like made it just
just me and him.
Yeah, they will come in. They will come in from time to time to you will have a few episodes with them here and there. But that's the only question that we had. So that's gonna end it for.
So this is technically podcast number 12.
Yeah, this is number 12. This is the relaunch in number 12. So. Again, we're going to try to do these more weekly. We're going to try these more weekly. We're going to try branch out on other topics. I think I actually... Oh, yeah. One of the things I wanted to... kind of the last thing we'll bring up before we go. I'm loving what the internet's doing right now. They're basically making memes of Hulk Hogan where he has, matches, like the title card of him versus Rock, Icon versus Icon, and they're replacing him with Stevie Richards. For those that don't know, the joke, you okay?
I'm fine. It just sounds funny.
Yeah. So the joke is that in WWF No Mercy, you play historic storylines, but there's one person that's obviously absent from that, and that's the Big Show. There's like a bunch of storylines that the Big Show is involved in, so they replaced him with Stevie Richards from No Mercy. So there's like, this is the joke that goes around whenever anything gets replaced. Obviously, when Chris Benoit killed himself, his wife, and his son, they say it's like, it's Triple H and Shawn Michaels versus Stevie Richards. So I love how people are doing photoshops of that right now. Actually, I saw one where it was next week on Tough Enough. The people will be judged by our expert panel: Daniel Bryan, Paige, and Mr. America, brother. I am not Hulk Hogan, dude. I am Mr. America, brother.
Oh, good God.
I actually saw him as Mr. America in Halifax. It was ridiculous.
I know.
Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. If you guys like what you see, please like, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. If you have any questions to ask of us, leave it down in the comments below, and we'll get to them next week. Until then, this has been...
Like and subscribe.
I just said that.
I just wanted to say it too.
Anyways, this has been the Couples Cast. I'm Johnny.
I'm Melanie.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.